So, a very warm welcome to our penultimate meeting of the year, Wednesday, June the 19th, 2024. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our meeting today, wherever you are on the planet. Really looking forward to this. I'm Mike Wozniak, your host for today. Yeah, you all know me, but I'm a photographer based in the UK. Very pleased to be with you today. Sheeta, as always, will be acting as moderator through this session. Sheeta, was there anything that you'd like to say before we move on and introduce Muffy?
Yes, I'd just like to welcome everyone, and I hope you're staying cool and staying out of the heat and staying healthy. And thank you for joining us today. Oh, yes, Mike.
Thank you. And Eckhart, NMUG's president, is of course with us. Eckhart, was there anything that you'd like to add before we move on? Oh, I think you might be muted. Eckhart?
That's right. Yes, I just unmuted myself. Thank you for reminding me. I also like to welcome our members, and looking forward to an exciting meeting. Muffy, glad that you have found time to give us this presentation. We're looking forward to that. And I also wanted to recognize George Rubin today. You all know George. He was a longtime president of our organization, retired a few months ago, but he was very interested in Muffy's presentation and requested an invitation, which we absolutely, of course, give him. And so we're happy to see you, George, and I hope you, like us, will enjoy Muffy's presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Eckhart. My usual announcements. First of all, just a reminder that absolutely everything that you need to know about NMUG can be found on the NMUG website at www.naplesmug.com. As usual, through this past season, I've set up a thread on the message board today specifically for questions and comments regarding today's meeting with Muffy. So if you wanted to comment or if you wanted to ask questions after today's meeting, please dig out that thread on the message board and place your questions and comments there. A couple of announcements before we start the meeting. First of all, we had a fantastic turnout for NMUG's first beginners session last Saturday. 150 people turned up, which was absolutely fantastic. And we hope to do the same again this Saturday. Eckhart suggested last week that I should perhaps suggest that more experienced members might be interested to join us at the macOS meeting. And I was very hesitant about it because I just felt if it was aimed at beginners, you might be a bit bored, or it might just be lots and lots of material that you've already learned and stuff. As it turned out, I was wrong and he was right. And I would wholeheartedly suggest that whatever your level of experience is with your iPad, if you're free at 10 a.m. on Saturday, that you come and join us, because it was a fantastic session. We've had wonderful feedback from Dan's presentation, and he certainly went a little bit further than basic last week, and I fully expect him to do the same this coming Saturday. So we look forward to seeing you then. You know about guests by now. We love to see guests at our meeting. Very few meetings left, of course, for you to invite them. But if you do know anybody who might be interested in coming along to see what we do, please share your Zoom invitations with them so that they can join us. And that includes Saturday's class, should you know anybody who's interested. Finally, a reminder about our Zoom invitations. From the very first meeting in September, we'll be using different Zoom addresses for each and every meeting. So unlike the past several years, you won't be able to just copy and paste the same link into your calendar, because it will change on a weekly basis. These links will, of course, be sent to you. They'll be sent to you by email by Dan at least once before each meeting. And of course, they're always available from the NMUG website once you've signed in. Next week's topic, Josh Centers is with us, a fantastically experienced speaker. Josh is the managing editor of Tidbits, which you are all familiar with, and a freelance writer. He's written for Macworld, amongst other things. He's been featured on an enormous number of blogs, including Daring Fireball, The Loop, Scientific American, and he's a frequent guest on Mac Voices. And he's here next week to talk about Text Expander, which is a way to save time when you're doing repetitive tasks on your Mac. So we hope you'll join us for that. And that just leaves me to introduce Muffy. I'm so excited about this. I wasn't familiar with Muffy's work. I suspect probably many of you aren't either. But when I communicated with her, she kindly pushed me towards her website, which is absolutely astonishingly beautiful. Her art is fantastic, and she's going to spend the morning today talking about how she levers her Apple equipment into producing the beautiful work that she does. So with that, Muffy, I will stop my share and hand the floor to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It's a hard act to follow, but I've been a member of Naples Mac Users Group since I think 1997.
Wow.
And the first, as we'll get going here, let me just see. Okay. All right, let me just, sometimes I get used to this. Okay. So a little bit about me. I've been a member of Mac Users Group since '97. I actually wrote the monthly newsletter for several months when it was still mailed to everybody. I worked a lot with Jerry King, may he rest in peace. Been a Mac user since then. I have a background where I worked for the Naples Daily News and advertising sales for 20 years. And I moved on to work for WGCU Public Media for 5 years. And in the process, I got very interested in learning about producing TV and radio spots and working with the producers there, getting a little bit of knowledge about Final Cut Pro. But my artistic journey really started back in 1970. And my mother had a friend whose daughter was working for the NIH in Kampala, Uganda, and she wanted her mother to come visit her. So her mother didn't want to travel alone, so she asked my mother and I to come along. And while we were in Uganda, she drove us around the country, and the highlight was going, in between all the game watching, the highlight was going to an exhibition of batik artwork. And for people who don't know what batik artwork is, wait a minute. It's a process of using melted wax and dyes as resist to create paintings. So I'm standing here holding one of my very earliest batiks, which was taken from a photograph I took.
Muffy,
yes.
Are you trying to share your screen?
Yeah.
We only see you. We only see you.
Oh, okay. Help me with that, please. Let me see here. Okay.
Do you see a green share button at the bottom of your screen?
Yeah.
Click on it, please.
There it is. Okay.
There you are. All
Okay,
right. So
cute.
now,
All right. So now you can
slow down.
Okay.
All right. What we see is everything on your screen. Do you just want to show your presentation? Because we see other
Yes.
stuff as well.
Yeah.
All right. Click on the keynote, please. All right. Stop. Go to where it says play at the top and play.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. There you are. All right.
I'm still getting used to some of these things, even though.
That's all right. We're here to help.
So going back to Uganda for a minute, you can see this photograph here of my mother and I standing on the equator while we were visiting Uganda. And in the process of visiting Uganda, we went to an exhibition of batik artwork. And this is one of my first batik paintings. It was done using melted crayons, Rit dye, and India ink. and it was based on a photograph I took on an Instamatic 104 camera. If people remember back then with Kodak Instamatic cameras. And from there, I kept thinking, I want to do more with this. And I taught my Girl Scout troop how to do it. And it went from there. I went to Boston University and got a degree in graphic design. I also spent a year, my senior year in high school, going to vocational school and passing their commercial art program. So I learned a lot of tools and tricks from that process to help me what I'm doing now. But in the process of doing these batik paintings, people have gotten to know me because it's rather an unusual art. I've been actively working on it since 1980, 89. And I was doing this in between working for WGCU and working for Naples Daily News. So my work has been shown in galleries, as you can see here. The Florida 22nd floor gallery is on the top of the state capitol building in Tallahassee. I exhibited there for a month. And then the exhibition moved over to the office of the Florida Secretary of State. And you can see one of the two paintings that's in their permanent loan collection. I was asked to work with the Marco Island Historical Museum as one of their 7 artists in their Windows and Doors to History project. And in this process, I was able to go into the library and take photographs from their archives and collage them. I worked with Photoshop a little bit to pull the images together. And then I did line drawings to do the placement on the canvas, because there were 3 paintings that I created for this, and they had to be 22 inches wide by 43 inches long. And those completed paintings were done in oil. And then